Dumela Vakayesu Kunjani to all my friends in Botswana, South Africa, and indeed my friends in Zambia and family. Mwaikaleni, edimwa usheni, bunobushiku bwalelo. My friends across Africa and indeed the diaspora, welcome. Today I've got a special guest and we'll be looking at architecture or design and all the relevant legislation that governs it. So we'll cover things like what you need to consider when you need to appoint an architect. We'll cover legislation, and we will cover the importance of choosing a qualified registered architect in Zambia. I hope by the end of this, you will have a peace of mind knowing that your project in Zambia will be carried out safely and professionally by Zambian professionals. If you enjoy this video, please remember to click the like button, subscribe, and smack that bell so that every time I upload a video, you'll be the first ones to be notified. And also, this will encourage me to bring content such as this and indeed help me with the algorithm on YouTube so that we can grow together. I am passionate about construction and I hope you will enjoy this discussion with my very good friend. Here we go.
With an introduction, if you could just introduce yourself, so that people can know who you are.
I'm Dr. Charles Chifunda.
Yes.
I'm a practicing architect in Zambia, registered with the Zambia Institute of Architects.
Yeah.
And I'm also a lecturer at the Copperbelt University.
Yeah.
In the Department of Architecture and Building. So yeah, I've been in practice for the last 24-25 years, somewhere there.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yes. So that's me. I run an architectural firm called Archline Building Consultants.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the leading practicing architectural firms in Zambia.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know. I've known you for quite a long time. I think around the same period.
Yeah, yeah.
So just like I said, so if we have a Zambian, and he's actually interested, he would like to start building. What sort of things would they have to look for? So they've got a piece of land and now they want to start building and they need to pick an architect. What sort of things would they want to look for, especially with an architect, if they have to select an architect?
Well, that's a good one. Obviously, you'll have to look for an architect that can meet your requirements. Depending on the complexity of the project, you should be able to choose an architect with an appropriate experience.
Mm-hmm.
I can't specify how many years of experience because it depends on the complexity of the project. I think
mm-hmm.
the more complex it is, the more you need a seasoned and more experienced architect.
Yeah.
But basically, any registered architect, even a year after registration, should be able to handle a house.
They should be able to.
But what is important is to choose a registered architect so that you don't have legal conflicts.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and like I mentioned earlier on, you can approach the Zambia Institute of Architects. There is a list of registered architects there.
Okay.
It should be on the website. If not, you can find the number for the Zambia Institute of Architects Secretariat.
Yeah.
And they should be able to provide a list of registered architects.
That's right.
We do not have so much an issue of specialization per se to say choose an architect who is specialized in housing. I think basically every registered architect should be able to handle house. So it's up to the client to find the appropriate one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah. In terms of knowing about that architect, normally you may have to refer to the works they have done so far.
Yes.
Those should be able to speak for them.
Yeah.
For you, it's basically an aspect of referrals or otherwise recommendations.
Yeah.
Or otherwise, you may have to look at their company profile and see what they have been specialized in, the kind of projects they have done before, and from there you should be able to assess whether they are able to do your project properly or not.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So the main thing is they have to be registered, and the Secretariat of the Institute of Architects should have that list of the registered architects.
That will have their contact address in terms of email, in terms of phone numbers.
Yes.
And from there you can pick up a conversation with that contact details.
They will have the
so using those, you can contact that company for their profile.
For the profile. Okay, that's
yes.
Okay. So in terms of fees, are they standardized fees for architects, or each architect will have to assess a job and charge a
Yes, there are standards that are followed, but there is no fixed cost.
Okay.
So each architect will have to look at the weight or the volume of work,
okay,
and then be able to give the fees.
No.
On average, going by the previous scale of fees that we had, you would, on average, be looking at about 6% of the project cost.
Okay.
Which is divided in, say, this 2% will be the design cost.
Yeah.
The other 2% will be the detailed drawing cost.
Yeah.
And the last 2% will be the supervision cost.
Okay.
But that is a guide. The architect will be able to give the appropriate cost at the time of negotiations.
Okay.
Up and above that, there will be reimbursable costs, which normally will cater for things like the travel costs to the site, depending on the location of the site. Then there will be other reimbursable costs, such as the submission for obtaining of the application of planning permission, and the like. So those will normally be treated as reimbursable costs, and they will not really be a part of the statutory fees, which I just mentioned.
Okay. That's quite good. So within those fees that you've mentioned, there's even is supervision or supervising the works, obviously making sure that the design is adhered to. Is that included in there?
Yes, it is.
It is included in there. So just in terms of the Institute of Architecture in Zambia, do you work in line with RIBA, or are you affiliated with RIBA, the Institute of Architects here in the UK? Or
no, not really. Not really. RIBA normally governs the practice of architecture in the UK.
Yeah.
MZIA, which is the Zambia Institute of Architects, governs the practice of architecture in Zambia. So there is no affiliation per se. They are two separate bodies.
They're two separate bodies, and obviously this is governed by is obviously backed by an Act of Parliament, is it?
Yes, it is backed by an Act of Parliament, which is Cap 442 of the laws of Zambia.
Of the laws of Zambia. So in terms of practicing architects, are they required to have a professional indemnity or insurance or something like that, just in case something falls apart? What do the Institute of Architects in Zambia ensures that their members do carry the appropriate insurances to cover any?
It's not mandatory by law, but it's good practice.
It is good practice.
Professional indemnity.
Yeah.
So architects are encouraged to have professional indemnity.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yes.
That's good. But I mean, we are looking at, I think as we are discussing, we're looking at very small projects and what could go wrong. In terms of the building regulations in Zambia, how is that? So that is incorporated into the design, and the architect will ensure that all those regulations are incorporated in, well, obviously captured into the design. How is that managed?
Yes, definitely. I think that is one of the major reasons why it's encouraged that you get a local architect who is a registered architect.
Yes.
Because a registered architect has a lot of legal frameworks with which to adhere to.
Yes.
As he puts up his design. There are various legislative elements that one has to look at.
That's right.
For instance, you have the Town and Country Planning Act.
Yes.
You have the Public Health Act.
Yeah.
You have the ZEMA Act, which is to do with the environment. The RDA, which is basically the Public Roads Act. There are so many regulations that one needs to adhere to.
Yeah.
And a registered architect will ensure that the design adheres to all those regulations to do with the environment, the Town and Country Planning, Health Act, the Public Roads Act, and all those acts which are there.
Yeah.
Definitely, one has to ensure that the design they are channeling out conforms to all these regulations.
That's what.
And that is what makes it safe to deal with registered architect.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Because a lot of things can go wrong as you design if you never adhere to the law.
Right. So who police that? Who is there an organization within the government that makes sure that these regulations are adhered to? Who will police that? Or is it expected that professionals will automatically police themselves?
Is it expected that?
Professionals such as architects, engineers will be able to police themselves. So what is there?
Well, the primary regulator is the institute itself, because it's an act of parliament.
Okay.
So the institute itself is the primary regulator.
Yeah.
There are other overlooking institutions such as the National Council for Construction.
Yeah.
And of course, above all, the law itself, because the local authority will be overseeing what you are doing.
Wow.
The Ministry of Housing and Infrastructure will be looking at what you are doing. So, and above all, even the West coming, the West, even the police can come in if it's an illegality.
That is something that I was trying to move away, because immediately you bring in, then becomes a criminal offense or criminal. But I mean,
if it's an illegality, yes. If you are practicing something outside the law, the police comes in.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Oh. Yeah. All right, but I know of the council. Obviously, we've got the architect supervising the works. There is inspectorates at the council. How does that work? I do remember the council having inspectors and all that. How does that system work? Does that work?
Yes, basically the council oversees the developments. Like I said, that is being supported by the Town and Country Planning Act, the Public Health Act.
Yeah.
So the council comes in to enforce the provisions of those laws. And so at every stage as your project is developing, the council has the mandate to come and check out what you are doing.
Yeah.
But like I said, there will be many other interested organs. The Zambia School of Architects itself will have to come in. It's got an inspectorate wing that comes in to ensure that you are using a registered architect and that your practices are correct. The National Council for Construction also has the mandate to walk into your site anytime and check what you are doing, ensure that there's compliance, that what you are doing is correct.
Okay.
The Zambia Environmental Management Authority also can walk into your site to see that there's compliance and to ensure that the environment is safe. But primarily, the planning authority, which could be the local council, the provincial planning authority will normally take the mandate to inspect your construction practice and ensure that you are doing it correctly. So we've got all those overseeing institutions that are interested in the quality of what you're doing.
Okay. So, I mean, for these, obviously, if you've got a project running, is there a mandatory requirement that you notify these institutions that you are about to start constructing, or how do they get notified? Obviously, the council will know that there will be some forms that you have to fill in. What about the other institutions?
Primarily, for the scale of a house, it's mostly the council that you'll be dealing with.
You'll be dealing with, yeah.
If you were doing other commercial industrial projects, then a lot of other organs come in. But for a house, the major institution you'll be dealing with is the council.
It's just the council.
So, yeah, or basically, I'll call it the planning authority, which could be the council or the provincial planning authority, depending on the location of your plot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the way to inform them is obviously to start by submitting your drawings for approval.
Yes.
You need planning permission before you can start your construction.
Yeah.
So only after they give you a go-ahead can you now start.
Yeah.
And as you progress, you let them know, then they'll be coming in for stage-by-stage inspection as your project progresses.
That's right. Okay.
Yes.
Right. So if we have an architect on board and they're supervising, they will be doing that notification.
Yes, they'll be doing that. And some councils will allow them to do it on behalf of the council.
Oh, okay. That's quite good. That's quite good.
Yeah.
No, I think that's possibly maybe all the questions that I had. And if you have any last words that you would like to share and encourage, and possibly maybe if I can have your details of your company and we flash that up as well, and just let you know, you are based in Lusaka. Do you have offices on the Copperbelt as well?
Yes, like I mentioned, my organization is called Archline Building Consultants.
Yeah.
We are architects and project managers.
Yeah.
Our head office is in Lusaka, at house number 16, Omelo Mumba Road in Rhodes Park. We also have an office on the Copperbelt in Kitwe, 25 Kanyanta Road in Parklands.
Okay.
So those are the two offices which we have.
Okay. No, that's wonderful. Charles, thank you very much for taking your time to have a chat with us. And I'm sure our friends in the diaspora will be encouraged, and knowing that we have professionals back home who will make sure that their project is carried out safely and, professionally.
Yeah, so I think I would just like to encourage them, our colleagues in the diaspora,
yes,
that I think now there are a lot of means that can be used for you to realize your project in Zambia.
Mm-hmm.
And I think those things of sending money to relatives who will be diverting the money are long gone.
Yes.
There are a lot of options that can be used, including the bank, like you mentioned, Zanaco. Then you have registered firms who have the law to fear, and your relationship will be a purely business relationship with a contract at hand.
Yes.
If there is if there will be any diversion and people do not execute the project as it were, it's a contract. You can sue that firm and you can save your money. Like I mentioned earlier on, normally these companies will be encouraged to have some professional indemnity, such that if there is failure in performance, you can always encash on that bond or on that insurance. So there are a lot of means that can be used now to ensure that your project is realized. And one of the fundamental means now is a commercial contract.
Absolutely.
With practicing architects, practicing project managers. And there are many project procurement options that are available at hand, including design and build, design and manage. Various options are there. And you can have your money managed by a proper practicing firm instead of relatives that will build and divert money. Companies have got a reputation to protect. And there are a lot of people that are building now from the diaspora using established firms. And we are one of them that have done that. We've built for people in the diaspora. We have supervised projects for them, and they have been a total success. So there is no need for people in the diaspora to be fearing and remain with no property in your own land. I encourage them to build in their land.
Thank you very much. That is very, very absolutely right on the spot. That's the way to go, and I do believe as well. That's the land of our ancestors, and we need to make sure that we have something there. You never know. If you decide not to go, let your children have that opportunity to say, I will go back if they want to. No, really appreciate your time. And I'm sure you need to have, is it dinner now?
Yes, I need to go for dinner.
All right. No, we'll catch up another day. I think I'll give you a call later.
Okay, sure.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, welcome. Bye-bye.